What is up, peeps? FTWTV HD here. I'd like to welcome you back to another YouTube video, and today we're going to be talking about Altar of the Moon. Now, this card has been a topic of discussion recently since post-rotation has happened, and free retreat is no longer something that is quite easy to obtain through Floatstone, as Floatstone has rotated out. So with decks looking for alternative retreat cards that allow you to retreat a lot more easier than normal, rather than retreat for free, Altar of the Moon has come up for primarily Psychic and Dark type decks. Of course, the card itself reads, the retreat cost of each Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's, that has any Psychic or Darkness energy attached to it is 2 less, effectively giving a lot of Pokemon free retreat by just attaching an energy. Now, this is something that is pretty good post-rotation, considering that retreat is hard to come by. Of course, you have your free retreat Pokemon like Tapu Koko. However, some decks just don't want to play Tapu Koko, especially considering it's weak to fighting and it's just an easy prize for a lot of decks. So with that said, we do need an alternative retreat. Now, of course, we do have a skateboard, which is the one that people are rivaling Altar of the Moon with when it comes to which one do you put in your deck, specifically your Malamar deck. We're going to be primarily speaking about Malamar here in this video. So we have a skateboard, we have Switch. Of course, we have Tantalizer that allows you to switch optionally, but is a supporter, but also provides a draw option. So that's also something that can be considered. It does seem like that, you know, coming to post-rotation, Pokemon are trying to bring alternatives, and they have tried to bring alternatives through cards like Altar of the Moon, Tantalizer, and a skateboard. So it seems like they were prepared for the post-rotation, but unfortunately, it's very hard to come by free retreat. We do have Pokemon that can give free retreat. If you think about Silvally, they give you a basic Pokemon free retreat. It's a good little tech you might want to throw in a Rayquaza deck, considering it can bring energy back too. But we're going to, as I said, be speaking about Altar of the Moon. So Altar of the Moon is a pretty good retreat option for Malamar decks, considering Malamar itself has 2 retreat costs, which means 1 energy will give it free retreat. The same goes for Dawnwing's Necrozma, which also has 2 retreats. That will give it free retreat. I believe it gives Ultra Necrozma free retreat. I believe it gives the regular Necrozma free retreat. It gives pretty much every card you're going to be playing in that deck free retreat. I don't think there is any card you would play in a Malamar deck that has 3 retreat costs. I don't think so. And even if it did, it would cost 1 energy to retreat, and you'd attach the energy anyway to give it the 2 less retreat costs. So again, it would just be 1 energy retreat. So it's something definitely that provides, or essentially it gets rid of the retreat problem that a lot of decks are trying to get around here. Because in a format with Guzma, where you're going to have to switch one of your Pokemon in order to get one of those up, then yeah, you're going to need something with free retreat, or at least a simple retreat cost. Because this is not like Lysander, where Lysander just allows you to, you know, take an opponent's Pokemon from the bench and bring it to the active, whilst you still have your desired active Pokemon. This is the one where, let's say you have your desired active Pokemon, you're going to need to bring your desired Pokemon back and find a way to retreat back to it through a switch card, or through a Tapu Koko, or through an Altar of the Moon. So with Guzma being so huge in the format right now as one of the leading gust effects in the trading card game, Altar of the Moon seems like a pretty good alternative. However, there is a big problem with playing Altar of the Moon currently, and that is Shrine of Punishment. Shrine of Punishment is a stadium card, and it is going to counter stadium use. So if you put an Altar of the Moon up first, which you're going to want to do, especially if you're playing a consistent Malamar deck where you want a turn 2 attack, you're going to want to put Altar of the Moon up. If you're playing a Shrine deck, they're just going to keep... Oh, ignore that. They're just going to keep counter stadiuming you, and eventually one will win. You know, eventually whoever puts the stadium out first, let's say if we both play four Shrines, 4 Altar of the Moons. Obviously, that's a bit irrational. I think everyone would rather go with 3. But let's say you're doing that, and if you go first, you're going to end up losing the counter stadium battle. Essentially, whoever gets their stadium gets to keep it out. Is there stadium recovery? There is through Lusamine, but no one is playing Lusamine because it's just, no one needs stadiums that bad. Plus, they're just really easy to get rid of with Field Blower. So it's just, right now, a stadium is still not great. It's not something you can rely on effectively. It's good. It provides great retreat, but it's not something reliable. Something that's way more reliable is a skateboard, because a skateboard, the only way they can get rid of it is through Field Blower. That's the only way you can get rid of it. And decks are playing a lot less Field Blower now because Garbodor isn't around. People are considering bringing Field Blower back because of Shrine of Punishment, but a lot of people are starting to understand that if your opponent is playing 3 or 4 Shrines of Punishment, playing 3 or 4 Field Blowers doesn't feel great in a deck. It takes a lot of space. So again, a lot of people are just giving up and accepting Shrine of Punishment for what it is. Maybe they're trying to find alternative ways of going around it. So with that said, it seems like Shrine of Punishment is the big reason why Altar of the Moon is just not going to be that consistent. And there are going to be turns where you're going to need retreat, and Altar of the Moon is not going to be up and you're kind of screwed. Whereas with a skateboard, if you have a skateboard down, yes, a lot of the times you're going to have to cost an energy to retreat. But in a Malamar deck, you're going to be accelerating energy anyway. So odds are you have that turn, that one turn where you could put an energy down on your Dawn Wings, which has an escape board, just to give it that one retreat. Also, the skateboard does prevent things like paralysis and stuff, but again, there's no real paralysis decks out there right now that's being, played heavily, or that's playing very well. Again, with Guzma, paralysis and special conditions don't really seem to have any sort of consistency or effectiveness or anything like that, considering gusting and switching is so big right now in the current format. So what do you think? Do you think that if you were to play a Malamar deck, would you play Altar of the Moon or would you play a skateboard? It's quite a tough one, really. Or would you rather go for alternative routes? Would you rather play a Tapu Koko or something down that line? Just let me know your thoughts. It's definitely something to consider. Altar of the Moon is a pretty cool card. It's a card that I did believe would see play post-rotation, and it has seen a bit of play, but it's up for debate considering Shrine of Punishment is running around rampant. But other than that, let me know your thoughts. I'd love to know. I'll leave you to it, and peace.